Kazakhstan makes up 42% of the volume of the current investment profile of the Eurasian Development Bank. The EDB supports a number of large Kazakh companies working on projects in areas of energy, transport, as well as infrastructure development. One of the big projects is the construction of Saryarka gas pipeline. It is financed by the Development Bank of Kazakhstan and the EDB. The financing amounted to more than $260 million. To date, the half of the construction works has been completed. In addition, EDB's another important client is a Kazakh gold mining company. The company, together with EDB, is involved in a project worth over $100 million.
У нас есть перечень приоритетных отраслей, таких как инфраструктура, дорожная, транспортная, энергетика. Особый акцент сейчас у нас сделан.
We have a list of priority areas such as the infrastructure, road, transport, and energy. Special attention is given on renewable energy. The program on financing the renewable energy projects has been adopted and is sent to members of the Council for consideration and approval. Within the project framework, the bank will consider projects in this area as a priority. We also have mining industry. In addition, we are considering on the agricultural sector.
Сейчас, кроме того, мы рассматриваем и хотим сделать также акцент на агропромышленном комплексе.
EDB Deputy Chairperson Amangelde Yisenov pointed out that the new criteria for selecting financially sponsored projects depends on its capital intensity and scale. The EDB also supports initiatives implemented through public-private partnerships. The presence of integration components are of primary importance. Kazakhstan is planning to increase the volumes of its meat exports by 2.5 times. One of the leading regions in the meat export is Aktobe. The region will export 4,000 tons of beef and 200 tons of mutton. The main importers of the meat products are Russia, Azerbaijan, and Iran. There are 5,000 farms operating in the Aktobe region, where most of them produce meat for exporting. To date, 2,800 tons of all types of meat have been exported, including 2,200 tons of beef and nearly 100 tons of mutton. 200 tons of pork have also been exported to Russia. Producers in Turkestan region have exceeded the meat export plan by 2.5 times. Since the beginning of the year, more than 12,000 tons of beef and mutton have been exported abroad. There are a total of 14 feedlots for over 1,000 heads of livestock in the region. More than 100,000 tons of meat products are produced in the region. Our region also exports chicken. 1,100 tons of poultry meat was exported to Russia and Uzbekistan. 1,600 tons of fish were sold to European countries as well. Meanwhile, farmers in Kizilorda region export cattle as well. Last year, 100 heads of cattle were exported abroad, as well as 300 heads of camels to Uzbekistan and 800 heads of sheep to Iran. This year, 300 cows, 59 camels, and 1,600 sheep have been exported. A farm with a capacity of 5,000 tons of meat per year is being built for systemic development of exports. Residents of Turkey, the United Arab Emirates, China, Russia, and Iran are interested in the meat products from Aral Sea. In total, analysts said that the country can successfully increase its export potential of meat products. Approximately 53,000 documents of local history kept in the libraries in Karaganda region were converted into digital versions. The digitalization project is carried out within the framework of the modernization of Kazakhstan's identity program. Rare books were the first to be converted into digital format. These are the lifetime editions of Kasim Amanjolov. The collections Thunderstorm of 1946 and Nurli Dunie of 1950 were written in Kazakh language. These books have been digitally converted. A laboratory for digital conversion of the books was opened in the Gogol Library in the region. Specialists read each page, correct the punctuation marks and specific letters manually. The process time-consuming and requires long hours of concentration. One book is scanned in 1 or 2 days, and then it is still being processed. This means it can take several months for one book. It depends on the language and the number of pages. The archive of the Karlak Museum is being digitally converted. There is a high-speed and high-resolution scanner that digitizes letters, orders of security forces, and personal files.
Мало того, что у нас есть цифровая копия, которая позволяет...
We have a digital copy that allows us to use certain materials without ruining the original copies. Moreover, all the historical documents will be made available on the library's website, where everyone in the world can have access to.
Доступ к историческим документам.
A reserve fund of regional historical documents is being created. All materials related to the region are collected in the Saryarka Electronic Library. For example, readers can have virtual tours to the city's streets, and they can also explore monuments and plaques, which are dedicated to prominent personalities.
Мы собирали сведения, брали в архиве города, потом
We were
ходили.
collecting information in the town's archive, and then we were taking these plaques out of streets. We were also compiling a bibliographic index of the literature. We have created an electronic source for convenience of users. A user can take a look on what kind of plaque this is, where it is located, and get more information about the people.
Расположено и получить дополнительные сведения о людях.
The entire library fund of Kazakhstan will be converted into an electronic format by 2022 as part of the Digital Kazakhstan program. Nearly 6 million copies are stored in the Karagandi region. Iran hosted the Day of Abai, the great Kazakh poet and philosopher. Abai is well known in Iran. His poems and philosophy is studied in special faculties. There is a monument of Abai in Tehran. Iranians said that not only Abai's verses are close to the heart, but also his views. The philologists I know translated Kunanbayev's poems. These poems are very powerful. The very word powerful is appropriate when describing his poems. What I remember is the lack of fear in his words, as if he speaks to you, to his old friend. The one who shouts in anger is harmless. Fear the one who is silent in anger, said Kunanbayev, and I keep repeating them to my kids. These words truly carry practical wisdom. The Iranians respect not only Abai Kunanbayev's creativity, but also his active life position. It is common that the majority of his works are permeated with demand for gender equality. This topic remains relevant in some regions in Iran. The recent opening of the monument of Abai in the Iranian capital Tehran shows how popular the Kazakh poet is in the Islamic Republic.
و ادبای بسیار بزرگ و اندیشمندی داره که از طرف مقامات و رئیس جمهوری جمهوری اسلامی ایران.
Kazakhstan is a very friendly country for Iran. It was our pleasure to welcome your delegation, led by Nursultan Abishevich, during the opening of the monument of Abai. We hope that we were very good hosts to our guests. From the very example of Kunanbayev, Iranians are aware about Kazakh literature and opportunities of creative intellectuals. I am sure that poems of Abai and his followers can strengthen the ties between our nations, which is important. Literature classes dedicated to the poet are being conducted in Tehran to further popularize his creativity and his works. The Iranians are encouraged to read Abai's poems, introduced to his thoughts, and preserved his works. Both school children and adults attend these classes.
و با استعدادی بودن ولی خودشون رو در زبده شاگردی
I got to know Kunanbayev's works a year ago, although literature is my passion. To my shame, I haven't heard about this great poet before, which is a pity. He has a very precise way of expressing his thoughts, simple and clear. I'm sure that Abai is great, but not the only poetic power of Kazakhstan. We, students and young specialists of Iran, want to get to know more about your literature. The style of Kunanbayev's writing is similar to the one of Persian writers, and this can help open Abai's works to the younger generation in Iran. Possibly in the near future, the works of the Kazakh thinker may be included in school curriculum as additional reading. Thus, the poet can carry one more significant thought about the friendship of cultures between Kazakhstan and Iran after 100 years. The cultural heritage of Central Asian countries is an area of great interest to foreigners. A 22-year-old Japanese student learned Kazakh language in Kazakhstan and wants to write a thesis about Korkut Ata, who is a legendary Turkic songwriter. Takuro Oichi, a senior student of foreign studies at Tokyo University, has visited the museum of the creator of kobis. He has been waiting for a long time to hear the sounds of the national instrument coming from intricate architecture stature on the Korkut Ata Memorial Complex.
Müzeyde yecel zamandan yecel davrden
In the museum, I learned about the history and saw unique exhibits of the ancient era. The sounds of key that I listened to at the memorial of Korkut Ata set my soul on fire. It was an unforgettable experience. I'm planning to listen to all the keys of Korkut Ata.
Korkut çıkargan köyleri tındap kırgım kiret.
The spiritual heritage of Korkut has a significant meaning for all nations of the Central Asian region. Information on the philosopher can be found in Kazakh, Turkmen, Karakalpak, and Oghuz epos. In the regional center, the young Japanese researcher has met with a scientist from the Kizilorda State University. He has found a number of sources related to his research in this university. The arrival of the Japanese student who dedicated his research to great Turkic philosopher Korkut Ata can contribute to further advancement of our research connections. We invited Mr. Takuro after his graduation in Tokyo to apply for a master's degree in Kazakhstan. Then he will continue his research in our university.
Жапон студенттері бұрынғы кезде негізінен технологияға көбірек.
Previously, Japanese students were interested in technologies, and now we see that their attention is drawn to studying the spiritual culture. I think these research works allow opening new methods and approaches of studying the world science. Takuro said that he has learned Kazakh in a year. He wanted to study Kazakh after finding about Alpamis Batir epos in Japanese language. Then he studied Kazakh literature and culture. This is Takuro's second trip to Kazakhstan. He's planning to continue to support the spiritual and research connections with Kazakhstan. A new season of the Astana Ballet concert tours will begin in Uzbekistan. Artists from Kazakhstan will perform on the stage of the Alisher Navoy State Academic Grand Theatre of Uzbekistan in Tashkent. The Uzbek audience will be thrilled to watch the best performances of the Astana Ballet troupe. The performances are one-act ballet, A Fuego Lento, The Legend of Love by Yuri Grigorovich, and the Heritage of the Great Steppe concert program.
Үш күнге созылған гастроліміздің бірінде біз бірінші күні Ұлы Дала мұрасы атты үлкен ұлттық бағдарламамызды көрсетеміз.
A 3-day tour will be opened with the Heritage of the Great Steppe performance. We are going to perform several choreographic miniatures created by Kazakh choreographers. Our theater's technical service has arrived in Uzbekistan. The service is working on installation of scenery and the technical equipment of the stage.
Алдын ала транспортпен жерледі. Кейіннен артистер барып, дайын сахнаға дайындығын жүргізіп, уже көрерменді қарсы алады.
This is the first tour of the Astana Ballet Troupe in Uzbekistan. All the artists of the Kazakh theater troupe will perform on the stage of the Grand Theatre in Tashkent. Leading soloist of Astana Ballet, Dilara Shomaeva, said that the tour is the main part of the creative work, as well as the ability to get to know the culture of different countries.
Мы всегда говорим, что вот искусство – это язык, который понятен всем, не имеет границ. Но на самом деле, вот я по своим ощущениям.
We always say that art is a language which everybody understands. It has no boundaries. I understand that many people have different languages, cultures, and mentalities. But as soon as I'm on stage, I feel something else, something eternal and understandable to everyone. Moreover, it is a very good reset, an opportunity to get inspired and to learn something new.
Скажем так, вечное и понятное всем. И потом это очень хороший заряд. Подзарядка, возможность вдохновиться, посмотреть и узнать что-то новое.
Over its 6-year history, the Astana Ballet has won wide recognition, both locally and internationally. So far, the troupe has successfully performed in Russia, China, the USA, Azerbaijan, France, Italy, and Japan. An exhibition dedicated to 800th anniversary of the defense of Otrar is opened in the Central State Museum of Kazakhstan in Almaty. Materials of the collection of the Otrar Archaeological Museum Reserve that were collected due to the studies conducted at the ancient settlement were presented. The exhibition includes 4 areas. The first area contains samples of unique artifacts of the early Middle Ages, particularly authentic items. Pieces of writings about life of the city are presented in the second area. The third area showcases materials about the life of the city during the Mongol invasion in the 13th century. The fourth area is dedicated to the revival of the Otrar city, where rare artifacts of the reign of Amir Timur and the time of the Kazakh Khanate are displayed. In total, more than 200 exhibits are presented. Otrar is one of the most well-explored medieval cities in Kazakhstan and Central Asia.
Бұл көрмеде сол кездегі Отырар қаласынан табылған мешіттің жаңағы күмбезінің үштамалары.
Unique exhibits that tell a story of the ancient city are presented here. For example, there are tops of a mosque dome of that time. Otrar shows a rapid growth in agriculture. In addition, the ancient city had a water supply and a sewage system. Painted bricks that were laid on the floor inside bathhouses were found as well. Though it's a steppe culture, there were also technologies for irrigating and watering land.
Суландыру үшін шығыр элементтері, солардың құмыралары осында паш етілген.
A young vocalist from Kazakhstan has earned the love of foreign audience. Alina Kulbayeva reached the grand finale of the international television competition. Preliminaries attended by talented performers took place in the Italian town of Scala. Alina's song has impressed the audience so much that the Italian radio broadcasted her performance throughout July.
Так, ну давай теперь покороче.
At the qualifying stage of the contest, a young talented singer from Pavlodar performed a composition dedicated to the world-famous Italian singer Enrico Caruso.
Доказать жюри состоятельность его собственной интерпретации. Это достаточно сложно. И вот когда наши дети участвуют
To prove its interpretation to the jury is quite difficult. We know that we are on the right path when our children take part in contests and show positive results. This reflects the reputation of our musical college. We are proud of our students. Alina is a young girl who is very hardworking for her age. Her personality reveals it, as it especially shows off her musicality as well as good attitude towards musical composition.
Бесконечно. И ее раскрывает личность. Именно вот ее музыкальность, ее продуманное отношение к каждому произведению.
Перед выступлением я, конечно, очень волновалась, но когда я выхожу на сцену и начинаю петь, у меня все волнует.
I was quite nervous before the performance, but when I went on the stage and started singing, I felt good. I enjoy singing. I was honored to represent Kazakhstan to the Italian audience. This is my first time performing here. Maria Mudriak is also very famous in Italy.
Первый раз. Вот. Также в Италии знают и Марию Мудряк. Это Минск, это Санкт-Петербург, за артистичность мне дали.
Alina has won the hearts of a wider public several times during her 5-year study. Her participation in the Italian contest was of particular importance. It was one of her successful performances. The song for the performance was recorded in the studio room.
қазақ халқы әнші. Әрине ата-анамыз.
There are no Kazakhs who do not sing. Our parents used to sing songs. Alina has followed footsteps of her grandmother and grandfather. I think she has a promising future.
Сол ата-анамызға ұқсап кеткен. Сол енді әндесі жан береді.
Итальянцы, они народ поющий, они очень знают музыку, чтят свою музыку.
Italians enjoy singing. They know about music very well and respect it. They provide music education to their children. They get a bit jealous when kids from other countries come and sing well like them. Such a little girl chose such a hard song in memory of Caruso. Based on the radio's results, I see that the audience votes for talented singers.
Дал понять, что они голосуют за талант, за как она спела.
The city of Reggio, Calabria in Italy will host a grand finale of the international contest with its 25-year history this October. The contest's main requirement is to perform songs in Italian language only.